What's going on, everybody? Cut this light on. Oh shoot! How y'all week been going? Hold on. I am on time today. I'm starting to be on time, y'all. I'm starting to be on time. What's up, Shayna? What's going on, Integrity Firearms? What's up, everybody in the building? How y'all week been going? We're gonna start. I already covered this topic before, but something mess around and happened to somebody that I know, close to me, and we're gonna talk about it. Which got me to talk about this particular topic again. And it's let's start making excuses for fools, or foolish behavior, whichever one you want to call it. DJ Play Nights, what's going on, brother? What the hell was I about to do? I was gonna do something on my phone, but I forgot that quick. All right, I don't think I posted a video this week, so we're gonna go back to an old video. How y'all week been going? Oh boy, I looked at the. I don't know, y'all. See if LeBron and them can pull it off, but I don't think they can mess with them Denver Nuggets, y'all. Them Denver Nuggets, is playing, boy, like it's nobody else's business. All right. I think it was this one. What's the week before or week? Something like that. I know I didn't drop it this week. That's all I do know. Okay. No, we're gonna go to another one. The one after that one. Let's see. Who's gonna be featured this week? All right. Let's see. Well, let me subscribe to Guns Don't Argue. See y'all, when y'all go back, y'all realize that you ain't subscribed to certain people.
Triple threat firearms and defense.
Okay, we gonna go Mr. 945. Like he got some stuff up here. We're gonna do one of his shorts. Mr. 945. Is that his channel? Yeah, Mr. 945 all together spelled out, or Mr. the number 945. I don't know. But let me subscribe. I ain't know I didn't subscribe. So I just subscribe. Y'all notice when you go back and look at that people's video, you realize you didn't subscribe. Hey, I subscribe because he commented. So all right. I don't care about that. All right. Well, we gonna get into what's up, Jigs? What's up, Joe Var? What's up? Dang, y'all came here quick than a mug before I can get this video started. Dressed to Kill Tay, what's going on? Y'all just popped in here while I was on the other screen. Silverback Tactical and Defense, what's going on, brother? Jason Ewing, Shannon Ewing, Miss T with the T. Y'all go check her out. She be trying to help us YouTubers, so definitely go check out Miss T with the T. She's been doing a lot of helping us understand YouTube. So shout out to her for being a help in many communities, matter of fact. So shout out to her. Shout out to Shayna. Y'all go subscribe to Shayna, Jason, Jigs Forum. I don't think Joe Vi got no what's his name. Jason, Integrity Firearms. Everybody, Joe. No, I don't think Joe Vi got one. Charles Henry, I don't think he has one, but he may have one. Dressed to Kill Tay. Y'all go subscribe to these folks. Silver Tactical and Defense. Shout out to everybody that's on here, man. Show me love. Oh shoot. Hold on. Okay, so we gonna get into this one right here. This is when I dropped my, I forgot what video I got this from, but Just because it say Hellcat. Springfield Hellcat RDP. Shout out to Mr. 945. Let's get this video started, y'all.
Come on, come on. Hey, T-Pain, it's Twister. Come this way, come on. We gotta creep fast. Come on. Watch as I hit it through the middle of the city in a Chevy, and I'm ready with the whoopers that'll beat up your block. And I got the taking the machete for the niggas I can pay to get the talking, I'ma heat up your block. If you wanna bring the boys, better bring the toys, better bring the noise, I'm about to put of ammunition. Bodies I be hitting when I get to spitting, everybody should have broken and nobody listens. So now I roll on 24 when I'm on your tip. They all know who I am, ain't nobody talking shit. Tell me when did they ever think that I was a hoe? Cause I got killers with me, Crips, Bloods, G's, and foes. And we be focused on the paper when we be up in the kitchen, we be thinking about the money on the steady come up. And I got the niggas that be ready for whatever with a whole war chest if a nigga run up. AK-47 does illegal SK, Mac 11 for the niggas that'll try to run up. Nigga, what you want? I'm a bone thug. Get you while you sleeping, cause you know I'm creeping on the come up. Come on me, but I know just who I am.
Shout out to Mr. 945. He was featured today. Shout out to him, man, and what he's doing on YouTube. So we're gonna get into it, man. We gonna get into let's stop making excuses for fools. The reason why I brought this up because something happened to somebody I know. But they was at work. The female kind of got into it with a male employee. And in doing that, let me get this off here. And within doing that, she threatened a young man. Got suspended. And with getting suspended, she did something else to him. And then talked to her mother. And talking to her mother, she told her to say that the young man raped her. Now, y'all know I'm against women, especially women that lie about something like that. That's serious. That's a serious offense to a male, regardless of who you are, whether my sister, my mother, my niece. No matter who you are, you don't do that. That is a very serious accusation and can really mess somebody's life up, especially a male. And that's what we're talking about. You can definitely do damage to that male by saying something that hasn't happened to you. And another thing, what's up, Willie? I ain't even see you coming here for a minute. What's up, Willie? You make it very difficult for the women that have been sexually assaulted. You put a stain on something that's not, to me, quote unquote, that's not serious to you, because if you shout it out, to me, if you shout it out, that means you're not sincere you're not compassionate to the women that it has happened to. And to me, you don't do that. That's something that you can really, mess somebody's life up doing that. And some women just don't understand that. What's up, Ray Official? Yeah, I agree. They women need to be reminded that you don't do nothing like that. See, my bad. I'm sorry to hear that happen to you, dressed to kill, Tay. But a lot of people don't understand this happens to a lot of young males. And it does shock the system. And I agree. It shocks your system, because to get accused of something like that, knowing you didn't do it, but then you have to go through hoops and hurdles to prove that this young lady is lying. See, we got a couple guys in the habit too. Sorry to hear that, Integrity, but it's happening more than you ever know. I agree, man, because and I've been said this DJ Play Nice when I did this before. I'm gonna drop the link if anybody want to come in here and maybe want to, share your story, or or you just have something to say about the whole incident, or if you have something to say on this. But to me, we have to address the elephant in the room. And I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but what I'm saying is this happens more than we want to acknowledge it ourselves, I guess, in some instances. Um, to me, if you're going to accuse somebody of doing that and it comes out that that's a false report, then to me, that woman needs to serve that. Whatever y'all was going to get that guy for that offense of sexual assault, that woman needs to serve that jail time, because that'll keep a lot of, to me, I may be, I may be naive or whatnot, but I believe that will kind of cut some of this junk out with these women. From doing that. What's going on, Integrity?
What up, Skillet, man? Appreciate you for having me on real quick. I don't have long. What's up,
Okay.
everybody in chat? But yeah, bro, that topic you brought up is it happens more than what people think it happens, man. On a micro scale, also. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you about my situation. I was working at I ain't gonna name the place. I was underwriting, and it was this young lady, bro. She always was friendly, but I knew what time it was. But bro, I had a woman. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So boom, boom, boom. So she kept getting aggressive. So I, you know, put it, laid down the law. Bro, it was this girl I never forget. She had 2 children. She was a single mother, and she asked me to put together all her children bicycles and stuff for Christmas. I said, well, cool, I got it. She brought it to me. I took it home, put it together, brought the stuff back to work. Well, anyway, this girl lied and said I went and told people I sexually harassed her, right? The same girl that I put together all her stuff for her children for Christmas co-signed her lie.
Damn.
Yep, yep, yep. So they put me on a leave. They investigated. They investigated for like almost a week and a half. They come back with the receipts. No harassment. No harassment. So they brought me back to work. And me and my old lady, I rap to her, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't take it easy on fools. And and she has met the girl anyway. She said that girl boom, boom, boom. But anyway, they brought me back to work. This what they done. They did not do anything to her.
Oh my! I knew it.
But matter of fact, they put me in another department and they said I got a year. I'm on a year probation with 100% audit.
Wow. That.
So
Oh my God.
all my work had to be 100%, bro.
So they put you on a. Oh my God! And you did nothing. You did nothing.
I did absolutely nothing, man.
Wow. I think he probably done. Why Integrity tried to get his stuff together? Go ahead. I'm gonna throw
Hey,
this
what's
thing.
up? Hey, thanks for having me on. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone in the chat. So, in a former life, I was actually a sexual assault response coordinator, sexual victims advocate, right? I had a national accreditation through NOVA, National Organization of Victim Advocates, and all the good stuff. So, from a historical context, think about false allegations of sexual assault, rape, and everything else. Think about back to the early history or earlier back in the 20th century in the US. Um, when white women used to make false accusations against black men against sexual assault, reckless eyeballing, everything else, they would form lynch mobs. People got killed,
Mm-hmm.
ran out of town, and everything else. So the gravity of false allegations could mean, the taking of someone's life. They literally historically documented they burned down towns over this stuff.
Yeah.
Blacks, Italians, all immigrants, right? That's a fact. So now we fast forwarded to 2024, right? When there's a claim of sexual assault, sexual violence, and I'm not saying whether it's founded or not, there's a lot of things that happen. If you're convicted of it, you go into the sexual offenders registry for 99 years, right? That effectively puts you out of so much employment and everything else. You can't move freely. You got to ask permission to move here, to go here. You can't work or be around children and all that other stuff, right? Also, with one of the issues, and let's put this out, right? Part of the stigma with filing a false sexual assault harassment allegation is it makes it harder for those that are actually being harassed and
Yep.
assaulted to come forward, because what ends up happening, they're saying, oh, they're just doing this to get attention. They're just doing this to get a payday. They're just doing this because they made them work and everything else. So now the predators have an easier way to get down and to do it, because I'm going to say, hey, Graham, they're always doing this, they're always doing that, yada, 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 right? In the workplace, in the civilian workplace, in the military workplace, the laws are very specific, and there's a lot of gray areas because, again, we can be sitting down here having a conversation, joking, and what I say to Integrity Firearms and Tactical Skill Unit, they're cool with it. But if another employee overhears that conversation and they're offended with it, guess what? You got to get out of here, right? You're wrong. Even your social media posts, for some companies, they monitor your social media and that can be used against you.
Yes.
I had an unfortunate incident when I was working out in California. I had a seller say that I sexually harassed them, by saying I told them they had nice shoes. And I was like, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't know, but I like, what in the hell does nice shoes have to do with it? So apparently, in the lexicon of today's kids, nice shoes means I want a blowjob. I was
Oh,
like,
okay.
what?
What?
So I started doing my research, right? And I'm starting looking at like movies where people are saying, hey, nice shoes and everything else. They said in iRobot, and they say this and they say that. And then I started thinking, right? Because I get marched up to the command, and they're like, hey, I need you to come with me over here. And I'm like, all right, what the fuck's going on and shit? Do I need to get a lawyer? So I sat down and everything else, and I thought back on my training. I said, all right, well, what do they want? And it was like, this individual just wants an apology. And I was like, hold up. If I did this and everything else, the only thing they want me to do is say I'm sorry. That's kind of weird. Then I say, so where did this occur at? Oh, it happened in this space. I was like, all right, being with my background and everything else, why would I say something like that to that individual in an open space where it's blocked off and there could be other people on a second tier, on a second deck, right? Most predators operate, in their thing and everything else. And then I started doing some research and everything else. And I was just like, well, all right, this individual has a history of making accusations and doing this and doing that, right? So, start calling up other sharks and sharps and doing this and doing that. Say, oh, okay, now I tied two and two together, right? Tied it together. I called this individual out on something because they was doing something wrong with our job. They didn't like that, right? Because I wasn't active duty. I wasn't in the Navy, but I called them out on it. So it started doing this and everything else. So we did that. About 2 weeks later, went back and everything else, and I presented my case and everything else. I called my HR department, and we did all this. And the human resources from the command was like, "Hey, you want a job?" I was like, "Nah, because I don't even want to work with females. I don't want to deal with this no more because it gets people emotional and everything else, and it detracts from the people that actually have legitimate sexual assault, sexual harassment cases." And for everyone out there, they think that it's just a male on female predatory aspect. It goes both ways. It goes female on males. It goes male on males. It goes female on females. Right. So you have to be careful about that. And even someone wrote in the chat, even a false allegation is detrimental and it can divide everything because in my workspace where I was at, people had to choose sides. Do they believe person A? Do they believe the accuser? Or do they believe the accused?
Yep.
Right? And now you can't work with someone. You can't be in that same space because, you don't want to do anything to say, oh, he's doing it again, right? And understand what sexual assault and harassment is. It's looking, it's leering, it's unprofessional posters. So if you're coming to work and you just feel some type of way and you got a deal and arrow calendar on your thing with females on it, that's harassment, right? We got to take that stuff down. So we have to be careful, and a lot of companies got policies against that. You don't want to get caught up in a civil court case about that, because I want to claim mental stress, mental duress, all this other stuff, and I'm gonna get money, because corporations don't want to be on that side of it. But the false accusations, they're detrimental to people that actually want to come forward and everything else, because now they think that they don't believe one other thing else. And on the flip side of that, like Dave Chappelle said, when he was in court, it was just like, hey, if someone from your family, this happened to someone from your family, what'd you do? He was like, ain't no one in my family got beef like that with OJ. And he was like, well, what if OJ would have beat your sister? This motherfucker said it was fresh squeezed orange juice. So you got some people that will go and take it to that extreme.
Yeah.
And it's just a bad thing. So I guess as humans, not only as men, we have to be mindful and respectful of the relationships we have and those boundaries. Because again, it's not what I say to Graham, what I say to Integrity and Tactical Zillionaire. I might offend someone, in the channel when we start talking about this and everything else. And all it takes is just, hey, an anonymous tip. Q was on here saying this and saying that. And they start calling it back, and it's just like, I gotta let you go.
Yeah.
Because that company's not going to go out on a limb to lose that lawsuit. Because now here's what else happens, right? One person gets offended, they bring it up. Then it's like, hey, has anyone else noticed this behavior and everything else? Just like, how come you didn't come forward? It's like, well, yada, yada, yada. Now, just like in New York City, where they extended the statute of limitations for rape cases and everything else, people are starting to come forward. You got the Me Too movement and all that other stuff, right? So you can't run and hide from it. It's no longer the all boys club anymore, right? They're coming for you. They're going to ruin your career. They're going to ruin your livelihood. Why were you fired from your last job? I wasn't fired. I quit. I left. Why did you leave? Right? It's public record. Right? Now, as a company, do I want to take that risk of you coming on and expose me to potential lawsuits? And that's all I had to say, man. Just coming from that experience and everything else. A false allegation. Sometimes a false allegation is worse than an actual allegation. You understand what I'm saying? Because you can go to trial and you can beat it, but if it's a false allegation, it's just out there, then all the rumors and innuendo starts and everything else, and then you're always suspect. And like Integrity said, trying to clean your name up after that, and good luck. You would literally rather get acquitted of murder than of sexual assault or harassment, because as a acquitted or convicted murderer, you go and you pay your time. As a predator, you always have that instinct to prey upon people. So it's just like, yeah, man, nah. It's like, why you let your kids sleep over at Michael Jackson's house? You heard the rumors.
Hey, Joe Bob. Hey, Joe Bob. Some people, that's their only tactic is rumors and innuendo. Yep. Yeah. And also,
you said in the window.
I'm country.
I'm messing with you, man.
Look, Have you guys heard that they're taking back, what, if you have sex with somebody, they're trying to make it, they got 7 days to take it back.
Yeah, I haven't heard that, but I know like some of the new consent stuff, and
Yep.
it's wild because if you look at some of the laws they're trying to pass, it's like, hold up, you're saying that I got to get the Dave Chappelle did the skit, the love contract. I got to get essentially one of those, right?
Mm-hmm.
And have a witness and go all R. Kelly, everything else. Be like, hey, she said yes, but then she said no. But yet they're saying that it's okay for pedophilia, minor attracted persons, whatever they're calling it. They're like, and I'm just like, yo, what is going on with our morals, man? Because it's like you're saying that I got to get a written permission slip, have it reviewed by a lawyer when I go and meet someone. And if we're in a bar, they have a drink and they say, well, all their faculties wasn't there because they had a drink. They couldn't give consent and everything else, right? You
Yep.
got to wait till they sober up. You're wrong, right? But yet and still, you're going to say some middle-aged individual it's okay for them to be attracted to a minor person and go into, to identify as whatever. I can go in whatever's bathroom and watch little kids. And I was like, yo, we that needs to be fixed, man. Cause
Yeah.
that just needs to be fixed.
What's up, Barnard Girl? What's up? I just seen some people going Wall E, Eyes and Ears Tactical, Howard J. All right, that's just a few I just seen come in, but y'all keep on going.
Yeah. But I mean, so when we think about that, and all that stuff starts at your local municipality when we're electing these guys or we letting these people stay in. If they're doing weird stuff like that, that's not going with your agenda and what you want, vote them out. Because like now they're saying that it's okay, it's legal for middle-aged men to go into females' bathrooms with underage girls.
But Joe, it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. I got my own little words, but it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that this shit is happening, bro, because it's nothing new up underneath the sun. And like you brought up the key word, morality. Where your morals at. It's not based on morality anymore, bro.
It's not.
It's
Too
not.
rich. What's going on, brother? Go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, it's not based on morality anymore. It's a morality decay. So.
Yeah, but that's crazy though. How like Jennifer Jovar say, I got a one that's going on 11 years old. My daughter. I wish I would. You understand me? I am going to lose it. Don't take your ass.
No, Skillet, what you're going to do is you're going to do an appropriate thing and go to law enforcement. Right? That's what we're going to do.
Law enforcement don't show up.
I'm going
Law
to
enforcement ain't going to show up in time.
And we're going to get SVU and all. We're going to go to the appropriate authorities and take care of that.
Okay. Yeah, we sure are. Yeah. What's up, Guns and Barbecue? What's going on, brother?
And everyone
not much.
Just understand that wild pigs and even domesticated pigs can eat up to 200 pounds of anything in a day. Just throw that out there.
I was just going to jump in on the false accusation stuff like that. I'm always preaching to my kids, as well as I've got a sister that's about to turn 18. And I always tell people, like, you need to watch who you're hanging with, watch the situations you're putting yourself in, things like that. Like, I've always had a very strict rule. When I'm working somewhere, I don't hang out with people that I work with, to avoid situations like that. I mean, not just those in particular, but just, anything where it could get me hemmed up in bullshit that's not, my bullshit. I'm like, no, like if I ever stop working here, then I've hung out with plenty of people after I've stopped working at a place. And they're like, man, I just thought you were anti. Oh, no, like I talked to you at work and stuff, but just, outside of that, like I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to collect a paycheck. Actually told that to an HR person when I was working at Gypsum as a trainer. because they're like, how many of you guys call each other going down the road? And like every trainer in there raised their hand except me. You're like, really, John? You don't talk to everybody? I was like, no. I was like, I'm here for one thing. That's to make money and make money for the company. I was like, I got better things to do than, be calling, Joe or Tammy and being like, hey, how you doing? What's going on with your day? How bad's, dispatch, bending you over today? What happened here or there? Like, no, I got 80,000 pounds on my truck I've got to worry about. And I'm going down the road. And, they're talking about Facebook and stuff like that and how they wanted us all to be on the company Facebook. And I'm like, no. And they're like, why not? I was like, because one, whatever I'm posting on my personal social medias is none of the company's business. I was like, second, I was like, we got these fancy Qualcomm e-logs in our trucks. I was like, anything, because that was their argument is like, oh, they could post stuff on the company Facebook, that we might need to see. I'm like, anything that is that important that I need to see, I was like, you should either be contacting my dispatcher and having them tell me or sending it through that Qualcomm. I was like, I shouldn't have to get on Facebook and check it daily to see if you guys posted something. I was like, that's friggin' ludicrous.
Yeah.
I was like, but just what it really boils down to is just watch yourself or watch the situation you put yourself in. Now, does that mitigate everything? Lord, no. But it can mitigate a
I
lot.
was about to say that you're still not safe because I was in the same situation. That girl that cried that shit on me. I couldn't stand her fucking guts.
Yeah.
Never
Yeah.
dealt with on the personal level in my life, so it's not fail proof.
Yeah, like I said, it's definitely not fail proof, but it can help out a ton.
Yeah, it helps out a ton. Yep.
Yeah.
What's up, DJ Play Nice? I just seen you come up in here. What's going on, brother?
Also,
yeah, man, never enough. I'm glad that Guns and Barbecue is on panel today because he's got some good stuff to say just there, maybe later on in the show. And there is a story about my family that I'm hoping to share after some of the more important ones are out there. So good to be here. Good to be here.
Yeah. And one thing about like being friends with people from your workplace on social media, because, at work, we do a code switch at work. I wear a suit and a tie and everything else. I come on social media. I'm damn near Tupac. You know what I mean? I'm America's most wanted, number 2, 3, and 4. And when sometimes people will take your stuff from your social media and talk about it at work, and that puts you into a bad position, right? Because now it's just like we're talking about prepping, bugging out. We're talking about everything that goes against the mainstream, whoever's agenda that's running stuff now, right? And then all it takes is for that to get out. It's just like, oh yeah, hey, so did you know so-and-so goes and shoot guns? I seen a video of him. He posted a video shooting a gun with his kids and everything else. Then it's just like, hey, you realize that Nova is child endangerment because he lets his kids around firearms, and now you got all that shit, child welfare endangerment and all this other stuff, and then it's like, well, yeah, Integrity Firearms and someone else said that they heard, someone say something about, that shit was the bomb. I think they're going to blow up the building. And you see this? It's like, yo, man, just like, hey, how you doing? When's the office Christmas party? I can't make it.
Can't make it.
That's
right. Bro, it's so bad. Like, when it happened, I had already started my own company 4 years before that. But it's so bad, bro. Like, I have females that work for the company, they take care of administrative and other duties, and I don't deal with them. I let Sonya take care of that portion.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Because people crying wolf so bad. Look, I have a nephew, and I've been warning and speaking and teaching him since he was a youngin'. So when he got to high school, his 11th grade year, his fellas got with some girl. They did what they did, and she said that they, great. So they locked all them little boys up, except for my nephew. My nephew called me and told me about it. He said, Uncle Tyrone, he's like, I just want to let you know what you told me what's going to happen. I appreciate it. I didn't even go with him. I said, there you go, nephew.
There you go.
So come to find out, the girl had lied on all those boys.
Yeah. And so even about that, just think about this thing, right? if you're a juvenile, you can have those records sealed and everything else. Some jurisdictions, depending upon how much money you got and everything else, they'll try to charge you as an adult for certain crimes. But
Yep.
as an adult, right? As an adult, if you get arrested and later the charges are dropped, right? You're a solid citizen again. But you go to apply for certain jobs and everything else, and that one question: have you ever been arrested?
Yeah, arrested.
It's
Yep.
not have you ever been arrested and the charges dropped. Have you ever been arrested? And if so, explain the reasons and the disposition. And as soon as you check that yes box, a lot of times that shit is like just goes right there. Don't care, don't want to know about it. Right.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
having a record, being arrested when you go to apply for housing, education benefits, everything else, all that stuff comes up. You know, so
Yep.
now
Some
you're disenfranchised from a lot of stuff.
Yeah, sometimes in security checks for doing background checks, if you have any security clearances too, they'll dig
Comes
out the
up.
deepest and darkest stuff that's out there. They will call former
Yep.
employers, they will call former co-workers, they will call former organizations, they will contact damn near anybody at some point. And if there is money behind that lawsuit, just buckle down. It's going to be a fight.
Yep. And if you can do it, you rather have a good name than dollars in your pocket, because dollars in your pocket, that's all you got. If you got your good name, you can go get more dollars.
Yes, you can.
You know?
Absolutely.
So
That's Ray said, I know guys at work who would mess with customers, and I told them that's stupid as hell. You can
yep.
become a fat paycheck if one of those customers yell rape. Yeah, it's serious, man. We take it for granted, man. Especially the ones that's never that I mean for the women that thinks it's a game or a paycheck, and that's not, go out and work, get your dollars. Don't do it that way, because you mess up a whole man's future, young
And
man's future.
it's so bad. So like what I'm doing now, I have to my interactions. I have to like actually touch people, right? Which fucking hate and shit. And so you have 6 erogenous zones where you touch, it's automatic harassment, right?
Mhm.
So we always ask is like, hey, I gotta take this, I gotta do this. Do you mind if I do that, right? And I won't even work with a female if I don't have a witness there or someone else is there. And I got a video, so where I work at, we have a video camera outside, inside, and inside. So there's a lot of video cameras and microphones around. You know what I mean? So I was just like, yep, like that motherfucker's working. Run back the tape and shit,
Yeah.
And we'll go back and we watch the tape, and they'll be like, hey, Q, you spent too much time taking that measurement. I was like, yeah, I gotta cut that time down to 5 seconds. You know what I mean? Because you ain't getting me caught up in that bullshit.
Hey,
Right.
hey, look, hey, Joval, listen to this crazy shit. There are some lanes. There are some creeps out here that's made for, right?
Yeah.
My brother got this guy a job, and when they was going through what do you call it? It was going through
Training.
training. It's another word they use, but the other verbiage. But they was going through training. They was going through sexual harassment, and they gave the people a demonstration and said this is considered demonstration of
Yep.
sex harassment. This damn fool stood up and said, well, if I hug her like this, is that sexual harassment? They say, yeah, leave, fired him
Yep. On the spot.
during his fucking during his
Why
orientation.
take the risk? Why take the risk when I'm showing the propensity to do that?
Do it right.
That's a fool. That's the definition of a fool. That's a fool's fool.
Yeah.
And I understand. And I tell my sons, I be telling my sons, don't go to school. Don't be putting your hands on them girls. Don't be touching them girls. You see them other little fast boys, don't do like they do. You keep your hands to yourself. You respect young girls. You respect their space. You respect them who they are, because they humans just like everybody else. Because there's a lot of creeps. When they look at a woman, they don't see a human. They
Nope.
human, just like we are. So respect them. Give them the same respect as any other human. Don't do unwanted words. Don't do unwanted touching, because it could
Yeah.
get you in a world of trouble, and rightfully so when you do that.
Yeah. And then
You
also
know.
remember,
So just want to
as
clarify that there are some creeps.
yeah, as men and also as females, no means no. You know,
Absolutely.
you could be rounding the corner to third base. Hey, that ball gets thrown to home plate and that dude's out. Stop running. It ain't in play no more.
Stop running.
You
It's
know,
dead.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, it's just walk off the court. You know, and there's a lot of nuances to it. Then I get around my friends. My friends start saying, well, when you were sitting at your desk and they walk by and put their hand on your back and was saying, hey, good job, and they started rubbing it, that's harassment, everything else. And I was just like, yeah, I didn't get a fucking raise, like no diddy, So and it's like the easiest thing, don't be that individual at work that's like real friendly and hugging people and
Hugging
everything
with
else.
everybody.
Be like, I speak to everyone at work once when I see him, then I keep it moving. I ain't saying shit to you for the rest of the day. I got email, Microsoft Office Teams. I got all this
Right, all
collaborative
that
shit.
shit.
But like, hey, you need to do this. Boom. Why you always do that? Because you can't say you forgot and I didn't tell you.
You're right. Check
All
that
that shit
email.
fucking recorded.
You're right.
Yep.
What's going on, Ricky?
I got 3 email systems at work. If you ain't checking all 3 of them, man, you shouldn't be here.
Right.
Don't take chances because it's easy to get hemmed up, man. Good Lord, it's easy to get hemmed up.
Very much so.
Yep.
Hey, Skilly, man, I appreciate you letting me on, man.
Of course, Integrity.
And also good.
No, he completely went out.
All right, can y'all hear me? Can y'all
Yeah,
hear me?
now we can. Yeah, go ahead.
Joe, it's always good rapping with each other.
Hey, as always, man, I'll talk to you soon.
All right, call me after the live.
All right, we'll do.
Hey, Integrity.
All right.
Yo.
Oh. All right. Integrity. I don't know if you can hear me.
Skilly.
Yeah.
What you say? Can you hear me, Skilly?
Yeah, I'm gonna get your number from Joe Vi.
Hey, bro. Hey, please do. Please do.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Peace.
All right,
See you, Integrity.
Later on, man.
Shout out to him. But yeah, man, it happens. And the reason why I end up doing this, because like I said, it was a situation happened. It's actually my wife's niece that this got to go on, that I found out this week of what she had done. And I have yet to talk to her. I am gonna give her ass a call, because you don't especially with a daughter, and I think of her as my own niece, and been knowing her since she was a little baby, and her mother told her to go say that, which her mother is very ignorant, which I hate, you know what I'm saying? But the mother is very ignorant, and she's teaching her to do ignorant things, which is going to ultimately either get her hurt in the long run, or it's just not a good thing for her to run around saying that. Threaten to hurt them, and then once she didn't get her way, once she got suspended, from the job. Yeah. Oh, it might be in my jacket up there. Look at my jacket. I think it's in my jacket up there.
Jova, I'm glad you're able to add your perspective to this. Have you or anybody else run into like male on male reporting, female on female reporting, or the reverse, male on female reporting?
Yes. So I was in the military for a long time, and the military is a microcosm of society. So as a victim's advocate, I've handled cases where it was male on male, male on female, and everything else. And the irony of it is like when we say male on male, you think like, that's gross, right? But remember, sexual harassment, as defined by the EEO laws and by the military, sexual harassment is it's as simple as if you come up and you know how the guys were like nice job and hit them on the ass, right? If you do that and someone says, hey, don't do that because I hit you in that prohibitive zone, that is now actually assault because it's a physical thing, right? So if I come up and if we're in a space, a team room, and you got the dealing calendars with the female gun bunnies on them and everything else, and I say, hey, take that down, that offends me, and you don't, and I make that complaint a reasonable accommodation, that's now harassment. And so it's not always,
touchy feely.
yeah, it's not always the violation to that point, but it does happen. There's been cases in Korea where you had a dude, he was going around being people, male soldiers, he was a straight predator. And we've seen the females, I guess now they call them cougars, and yeah, so it's not just always male on female. And if you guys look and read the news, there's been a lot of senior military officials getting relieved and fired for sexual harassment and sexual assault. Along with everyone else, the allegations of the Congress members, allegations of entertainers, movie stars, sports officials, regular people. It happens. There are some predators out there.
Oh shit! I lost all my comments. Yeah, we it's an ugly topic to talk about, but it's definitely, and like I said, the reason why I brought it up this week was because it happened so close to me, as far as my wife's niece, and I'm pretty pissed off about it. I ain't talked to her yet, but I will be trying to give her a call because I called the phone the other day, but the number was no good. So, but yeah, that she don't understand the verifications of what her mother told her to do, which and that's just ignorant. Her mother's ignorant. Her mother's been ignorant since I met my wife. So unfortunately, she's learning the bullshit from home. So it is what it is.
Well, didn't get a chance to say goodbye to barbecue.
I know he probably got booted off by accident. What's up, Paris? I ain't even see him in.
And so, Skilly, you've mentioned that it's come close to home, people that sort of thing. And it's about time for me to share that story of mine. So when I was when I was in junior high, my dad and my stepmother adopted a newborn, my little sister. And within a couple of years, I had, graduated, gone off to college. My dad calls me one night and he says, I'm sleeping in my office. And that's pretty much all he said. So I was trying to get, why are you doing that? What's going on? Well, as it came to be, my stepmother accused him of abusing my little sister.
Oh.
And yeah. And from that, at that point, they had troubles over the last, year or so in their relationship. And, they were both, pretty well-to-do, middle management and executive folks. And she did have the opportunity then to be able to support her and her daughter, because that's what she wanted to, that was the final aim, just fine. So anything that she ran into, questions or anything else, can you support, where did this happen, all that stuff, she kind of knew that she was in the catbird seat for all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. So after that initial reporting, and they, she did take my little sister to be physically examined and stuff, and whatnot. The exam showed nothing. Showed no signs of abuse whatsoever. The areas that were supposed to have been touched or whatever it was showed nothing. And so, here's my dad trying to figure out what the hell to do. Well, advocacy for males and this particular issue, though, it's not the same as the one that's the topic for today. It's parallel. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, but this is in the late 80s. It's like 89 or 1990 or so. And there wasn't the same kind of push for, paying attention to the male side of anything. It was still even more demonized and difficult to deal with. So not only has he moved out, but now he's facing losing his marriage and having something happen to with the way he's able to relate to his infant, to his little girl. And he had supervised visits for 5 years. And that included extended family. If I wanted to see my little sister, I had to do it during these times. Now, I had been gone. I was in a different state. And so I'm not trying to put my problem ahead of anybody else's in that situation, but I was offended. Like, I wasn't even in the state. I had no contact. Why are you going to say that I have to meet my little sister at the courthouse with the court supervisor and somebody else? Like I just didn't like it. Now, the mistake that I made, I don't want anybody else to make this mistake when they are fleeing an issue like this. I just made the decision, well, then I'm not going to see my little sister till she's, age of maturity, till she's 18. I pretty much stuck with that. I feel the damn fool. I was like a 19-year-old man. I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea to project into the future and to kind of, try to do something better than what I did. So I am ashamed of my behavior in that situation. My little sister lost an older brother because I chose not to have that contact. So as the situation ends up, not only does he have that, going on, but there are a bunch of other things at the same time that he has to deal with regarding this issue and any criminality. The man was never charged with anything. No evidence, no solid evidence was provided of his guilt. He volunteers to take a polygraph test. Anything that he could do, he volunteered for. Yeah. He actually had paid to have somebody do a private one, and that wasn't cheap. So that's another thing. If you don't have dollars, you might just be stuck like Chuck. You're looking at a charge, all those other things. And Skilly, please, I'm known for being verbose. You interrupt me at any point along this if there's like a question or I've said too much. And I will try to wrap it up pretty quick here. So I never got to have that relationship with my little sister. My father never got to have that relationship with his daughter. My little brother didn't get to have the same thing. And so it was years later, and a couple of years before the death of my stepmother, she asked me to come and meet with her to have lunch. So I did that. And she told me some things about what was then what she considered to be our family. That's how she put it. So my dad, my stepmom, my little brother, my little sister, and I were the family that she was talking about. And she started to leak some details about those days. And I met her a couple more times for lunch. And before we were done having our little lunch meetings and stuff like that, a few months later, she said that there were some things that she wished she hadn't done. And when I asked her what that was, she said, well, the way that reporting of your sister went. And she wouldn't give me too much more. But I asked her, well, did you ever check into daycare? And they hadn't. And I couldn't believe it. I'm like, the investigation of this didn't include that. How could that possibly be? And so here's a big question mark for all of us at that point. Now, my little sister then was about a teenager, and she was a difficult young woman kind of thing, but I never wanted to have that conversation with her. Well, guess what? Since she became an adult, I did have that conversation with her. Of course, she didn't remember anything, but here she is, and I am just leaking tears. Could not stop. I'm blubbering, bawling, heaving. I can't stop myself because I'm not going to get that started again. But she was telling me that how sorry she was that things had gone like that. And she told me about the problems that she had because she didn't have that nuclear family and that it was busted up by her mother. And she thought that her mother had lied. That's the way it kind of ends up today, except that my stepmom, I was there when she was on her deathbed. I was there when she took her last breath, and I had a hard time hating that woman. I really, really did. And I don't know why, because I wanted to. So that's about all I got on that, Skilly. I appreciate that you gave me the mic for that long, and that my personal tale is something that other people know now, kind of thing. So that's what I got, man.
Well, brother, I appreciate you being vulnerable, brother. You know what I'm saying? On this channel, we don't take it lightly, man. That's something serious because you lost out on something so precious, and that's your little sister, man. I appreciate it. You got me here about to go into tears, so I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Man, that's a deep one. That's a deep one. Ooh.
Yeah, I gotta say, I almost started into that same heaving and crying and rolling tears again, man. It's just, we cannot underestimate the power that these things have. We just can't underestimate it. And until you come that much closer to it, it kind of sounds like you want to have empathy. You want to sympathize a little bit. But if you haven't been through something close to that, or you don't know somebody who has, you really going apples to oranges on that thing. It is emotionally destructive for the remainder of some people's lives on both sides. Both sides. Horrible.
And speaking of that, like, as a victim that something happens to that, it's like you don't trust and you don't do this. And then as a person that's been falsely accused of that, you're reluctant to build relationships and bonds.
Anybody.
You know what I mean? It's like, hey, we got to go wherever and everything else. We're taking a company van. It's like, nah, I'll drive.
Yeah.
And we're doing something like this. Like, now I'll walk. Like, dude, it's 4 miles away. Now I'm going to walk and shit, because you ain't going to be sitting down there and be like, Q grabbed my leg. It's like, nah, man, fucking the coffee was gonna read. Like, nah, I'll walk. And shit. You know what I mean? I'm walking. I'm not going through that shit again. I'll walk. You know, it's like, hey, we're gonna you know, if you travel, hey, we're gonna carpool in the van to go to the airport. Nope. I'll meet you there. You know, and that's like legitimately how some people is. Just they'll do everything to avoid putting themselves in those
That
positions,
situation. Yeah.
and it's inequitable. The
But sometimes, like he said though, like DJ said, sometimes it's in your own home. It's
Yeah,
in your
yeah.
own nuclear.
I'm not. I'm not saying who it is. I'm just
No, I
saying
understand.
the
But yeah,
power of those false accusations, and then when you got, you know, people saying, "Oh, say this, say that, and do this," when someone does that with malice,
yeah,
because of whatever reason, right? You know, getting divorced. My wife says, "Hey, he's I think he's abusing the kids and everything else." That takes a toll on the whole family dynamics and relationships, because now not only do you have family, now you're driving a wedge between kids
kids.
and their parents, right? So it's, man, damn, Skill, you got me up in my feels, man. I hate you, man.
I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry.
You know, and I don't want to keep referring back to my own situation, but it's the one that I can speak to the best, and that is that my little sister, she's maladjusted. You know, I mean, we all got a little bit of that in us, but she, as far as her relationships go, her intimate relationships go, she's not been solid. I don't want to say normal, but she just hasn't been able to do things, I think, the way that she would want to. And I cannot imagine, and I have not asked her. I mean, at some point, I may be asking her more questions. We don't talk all that much, so I don't want to be bringing that up as the sole topic, or, you know, something that's the second one or even third. But I know that she's, you know, the difficulty that she's had is reflective of that situation. And I can't imagine what it'd be like growing up having a parent tell you, "Oh, you were abused."
Yeah.
Whether, you know, and in my case, I still want to believe that was never the truth. But being true or not, think about what you're doing to that kid. You're advising them to do this to get out of something, or there's, you know, somebody who doesn't understand the import, the impact of something like that as a minor kid. You know, though that boy didn't do what I wanted to. There's some examples out there in the text chat and other personal experiences we've all been, you know, most of us have been through in a situation like that. The other thing is, you know, I'm in my early 50s, so it was an incredibly different thing in the 80s. I can't speak to the 90s that much, but the 70s and the 80s, we got away, you know, as a boy, I got away with a lot of shit that you couldn't get away with now. No way, no how. You know, we used to have this goofball bullshit we would do on the stairwells. We would snap girls' bras, you know, pull them back and snap them.
You can't do that, man.
Yeah.
You do that
You know,
shit now, you going to jail.
Exactly. And so I think the point I'm going to make, and then I'll pass it back to all y'all, is, you know, sometimes because we were used to a completely different paradigm, it's difficult for us to understand what people go through now. And when I jumped from one industry to the other, you know, I'd gone through the sensitivity training and whatever else kind of thing, but there were still people doing that, hugging people at work and, you know, physical contact. I mean, is it going to be to the point where if you try to shake somebody's hand or you're trying to compliment them kind of thing, that we all have to withdraw that stuff? I mean, here it is. We got a man wanting to walk 4 miles to avoid something. We got people not developing work relationships, friendships. I have some people that I've worked with I'm still really good friends with, but I also know when people are talking about, I'm here to make money and I'm going home.
Mm-hmm.
The impact that has on our ability to interact as human beings, we don't get to develop what I would say, you know, hard quote, not even soft quote, relationships, because it's going to be either jaded or it's going to be reduced or it's going to be non-existent. That's crap. I got to shut up.
Nah, and you're good, man, because like you said, because like even growing up in the 70s, 80s, and the 90s, there's a lot of latitude, a lot of things you could do. You know, you could, as a guy, you know, see the cute girl coming down or see someone you was attracted to, and your buds would like kind of push you into them, and you know, you do the thing from Billy Madison and everything else. Now you do that, you go to jail, right? You know, back then you would probably get detention if you would like drop your pencil and look up a female skirt. Mm-hmm. Now you do that, you're going to jail.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just it's just so out of whack because now we have males playing female sports and they're going to have contact. So how do you adjust that? Oh, well, it's different because this individual identifies as one of the 53 other sexes. What's the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Where does it stop? Because you're saying like now I crack an inappropriate joke and you're trying to fire me, but yet and still we have to accommodate an individual that was born as a male, still has male genitalia, but they can go into a female bathroom. And it's all cool till it's not, you know.
Right.
And I know that's probably a different subject, but you know, everyone's like, oh, let them identify as who they want and everything else. Oh, I'm all for it. There's like, this is bullshit because now my daughter can't get a scholarship because she's no longer the fastest track runner.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Or no longer the fastest swimmer. It was just like,
what's up, Sanchez? What's going on, Oz? And here's Tactical. What's going on, brother? No, go ahead. Go ahead, Jovan, finish your thing and then.
Nah, I'm done, man. I'm done because.
But man, hey, Jovan, man, you made some good points, man. Skilly, it's a crazy topic, man. I was messing around with my brand new lawnmower, man. Y'all got me. I went and bought a brand new, man. Where's for me to start this whole lawn thing, man? But anyway, so man, I found out some stuff that we all need to know, bro. I just found this out. So in California, okay, they trying to get rid of the 2-stroke engines. So they don't want 2-stroke no more. They want everything that runs off a 2-stroke. They want to be electric.
Yeah.
Now, I worked for a big giant company, whatever. I ain't gonna get into all. I ain't trying to brag about that, but so our company had already. They went across the board and got rid of all that shit. So all they got is it's called Ego. So Ego, Electric Go, and they basically what they doing. These major corporations, they getting plugged in big time, dude. That's how I got mine. Let me get to the point. So if you own a business, a small business, landscaping, yard, whatever it may be like that, or you use blowers or anything like that, these Home Depots out here in California, I can't speak for Lowe's or anything like that, or Walmart. I think Walmart does it too, but you can show your receipts for all your equipment. You got to bring it to a certain area and they give you a voucher to go into the Home Depot and buy everything you need to operate your business free. That's what they're doing to try to get rid of all that shit. Now, it ain't gonna work, because I'm gonna tell you right now, because in San Diego County, San Bernardino County, Los Angeles County, and in the Bay Area, Santa Rosa County, and Contra Costa County, all these counties that I just named, they all got a bunch of people that do a lot of dirt biking and quad and duning and all that kind of stuff. So if you go out to King County out here, they ain't trying to hear none of that stuff. They still running around with gas blowers and just run lawnmowers. So I was just like, man, let me see what I can do. Because y'all had me thinking about my lawn. I'm like, this is terrible. So I went to work on Friday. I was talking to the lead engineer, the guy who's in charge of all this stuff. I said, hey, man, check this out, man. What's up with these lawnmowers, man? He's like, oh, Brown, you want to get into it? Because I was talking shit about it like about 3 months ago. I was like, man, ain't nobody going to buy that crap, man. And so he said, yeah, man, no, bring your lawnmower in. So I drove up there Saturday because my granddaughter had a softball tournament up in Irvine. And so I was going that way anyway and I had to stop off in La Jolla. So I dropped that thing off. I said, man, this ain't going to work. I dropped it off. It's a pretty good lawnmower with a grass catcher, all that stuff. And by the time I got to Irvine, outside of, right when I got into Irvine, by Newport Beach area, I got a text. He was like, hey, man, I got your voucher. Here it is. It's a QR code. You ain't even got to come back to the shop or nothing. I said, what? Now, I got the code. Man, I was hoping for that tournament to go. I was like, man, I'm out of here. I said I had to stay for 2 games. I zipped back down to I-5. I'm flying. I got to see this. Man, I go to the Home Depot. Man, they had a whole selection. I had no price limitations. I could have got a riding one, but my lawn ain't really all that big.
Right.
But I was like, man, I just get it anyway, just to be clowned. I said, but where am I gonna put this thing at? So I said, forget it. I got a regular push one with the grass catcher and a blower with the little jet pack on the back where you can blow all the stuff off. Man, I got all that for free for one old ass lawnmower. It's still in good shape, but it's like about 10 years old. So Anyway, that's my little rant on that, man. But my lawn looking tight right now. I can't show you right now.
Hey,
I'm on Irvine right now, Great Parks outside of Huntington Beach, so I can't show you. But my lawn looking sick right now.
Hey, you need to take a picture and show that to Ray, man.
Right.
Oh, I'm definitely when I get home, and it's 5 inches. I measured it too. I measured it.
Ray, you got me out here measuring grass.
Measuring grass. That's right.
For you.
Yeah, man.
Ray,
Yeah.
got people out here measuring grass, right? You are
measuring grass. That's right. Measuring grass.
Hey, Skilly. Hey, Skilly. The new hot thing on YouTube is going to be lawn flexes. The Sunday lawn flex.
Hey, I'm about to get my yard together then. Shoot.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Hey, guy, I ain't gonna lie. The Ego, man, that thing run good. Smooth, no sound. It's like you're creeping up on somebody. You ain't no sound. You just like people think like, what is he doing? I don't hear nothing. I don't see nothing moving. Oh, it's cutting. Got the grass catcher. Man, it's super efficient. And then like anything go wrong with it, I got like a super big time warranty on it. Yeah, it's called Ego, man. It's clean. I ain't gonna lie, it's clean. It's clean. It's clean.
Oh, Ray, you're terrible, Ray. I'm just gonna tell you, you're terrible.
Hey, I got one more thing, man. You know, I don't know if I noticed, but I'm really big in safety. But it's something I put together last month. It's a first responder kit. Everybody should have something like this in their car, man. Like now, I got a regular. Because I coach, so I got a bunch of these. I buy a lot of these for the parents to have because they don't never listen. I said y'all should all have your own first aid kit. So me and my boy ordered like 16 of them like 2 years ago, passed them out to our team. So you should have one of these too in your car. But this is like your personal kit for your car. But if you're on the side of the road and some shit pop off and you want to be, I responded before on freeways before. I don't just if I see something bad happen, man, I pull over and run back, see what I can do to help. That's just me. But you should have this, like, even in the neighborhood, you go to a grocery store and you see it's an incident happen, and you should have this built out. I got everything up in here, all kind of gauzes, Band-Aids. I got thermometers, tourniquet, triangular bandages, hydrogen peroxide spray, eye wash, eye patches. I mean, almost everything you could think of is up in this thing right here. And I'm telling you, man, stuff like this is what everybody should be having, stuff like this in their car, man, because you never know, man. Like, you might just be on this, like, driving home. It could be in your neighborhood, man. You see a little kid down, just got hit by a car. Man, you pull out a bandage or something. I even on the topic of women, I even got tampons in here. And somebody's going to laugh. But let me tell you right now, I was in the Army, too. Tampons, they clot blood good. So if you got people laugh about that shit like, Brian, you carry tampons around. I sure do, for two purposes. If a female needs a tampon, well, hey, you know what I'm saying? And then secondly, it works as a guile. It works, man. It really works.
The one problem about using female hydrogen products for wounds, there's a small percentage of the population that could go into toxic shock syndrome, and that's why they. That's always a risk. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
But if you're about to die, I don't think that's gonna. If I gotta use a tampon to stop blood coming out your body, I'm not gonna sit here and wonder if you are toxic.
I worry about that,
dude.
We'll do that one later.
Yeah, it's just like I did a tourniquet class last week ago. So there was a couple ladies up in there, a couple guys, and the guys were just as freaked out as the ladies was. When they saw us, it was a live person, and we put a tourniquet on, and not me. I did that before. I ain't doing it again. But he showed how much pressure you got to put on to put a tourniquet on. People was like, "Are you kidding me?" Man, two things got to happen when you use a tourniquet. One, it has to stop circulation, or it needs to stop bleeding. That's the whole purpose of a tourniquet, and people don't realize that. So when they do these little classes, they put them on. They go like, "Yeah, it just tied right here." You gotta ratchet that thing. You need to stop circulation or stop bleeding.
You have to have a good windlass on it.
Yeah, but man, anyway, that's my little first aid thing, man. But hey, let me get back to the topic real quick. Let me just ramble on for like 2 more. I think the reason why all this, sexual harassment, false allegations. Y'all brought up a lot of stuff, but I'm gonna tell you, I graduated high school '87, so I'm an old school guy. But I think, just going with facts, not my opinion. If you pull up like 1956, the average world birth rate per female was 4. So that means every female had damn near 4 kids in 1956, 52, 56, somewhere around there. Don't damn me to the cross with that, but it's right around 50 to 56. The average birth rate for a female worldwide was, other than China, because they was limiting how many kids you can have, but was 4. So now you fast forward to 2024, that rate is all the way down damn near under 2. So in America, speaking about America, most people in America, not everybody, so I don't know if anybody saying, man, no, most meaning more than 50% of the population met their spouse in the workplace. Either they're in the military together, or they work together, or they went to college together, which is kind of like the workplace too. So everybody pretty much met in the workplace, or somebody who was working with another man or another woman say, hey, I got Jay Steely, my brother-in-law. He's a nice man. Maybe you should come over for dinner and meet him and all this kind of stuff. So they were introduced to someone family related or in the workplace, and that's how they married and had a bunch of kids. Now, fast forward, why we got to this point, you got to go to the NOW movement, the National Organization of Women, which was hijacked from Black women and minority women coming out of slavery and segregation, which was originally for, but it got hijacked by upper middle class white women because they didn't have a place at the table. White women never had a place at the table. The white man, look at the Constitution, look at the Bill of Rights. All these were white men. There was no white woman involved in U.S. history of anything significant. It was only white men and Black people for the most part. So when you look at that element right there, that how this country was founded, built, and established, women have never had the power in this country. Not to shame me. My mom was very powerful, very strong lady. But let's just be realistic. There was never a spot at the table for a woman in any kind of organization, any type of outfit. Even in the military, they were limited. So once we started evolving technology, all this kind of stuff, office building, what happened, in my personal opinion, it wasn't people at the middle class and lower class and that was actually creating harassment inside the workplace. Harassment inside the workplace, in my personal opinion, I got a little bit of facts, but I ain't got it on hand, is it started with the corporate level, meaning people who had power. It wasn't nobody at the bottom that was harassing nobody, because remember, you could date somebody in the workplace, so it wasn't no secret. Oh, Jay Steely over here with so-and-so. Oh, Eyes and Ears over here with so. Everybody knew, right? Everybody knew. They went to the same bars, hung out, all kind of shit, right? Oh, he broke up with so-and-so. That's why she got an attitude right now, right? but it was no secret. So you really couldn't harass nobody back then. It sounds crazy, but when it was all open and you could actually date with no big deal, it was no way you could harass a female or a male back in them era, because everybody would know. The minute it became secretive and you said you can't do this, and now people start to hide. I heard some guy say, I don't talk to nobody on my workplace. I ain't got no friends at all. I come to get the money. I'm the opposite. Most of my best friends I have for life, I met through work or military or something like that. And we still homies. We coach together. We raise our kids together. We stay in touch. Even when we left, we still tight. I'm still tight with some of my homies in the Bay Area to this day that I work with in recreation, coaching, when I was a scout for USF. These are all my homeboys. So I'm the opposite. I made friends with everybody I work with. But my point is, it was the people with power going from Capitol Hill all the way to corporations, blue collar, white collar, any management position, even the guy at the tow truck office who ran it, he was probably harassing the secretary probably, but it wasn't the tow truck driver. So what I'm getting at is that abuse of power has always been there. And when this country was established, women didn't even have no fucking voting rights. They didn't start getting voting rights, I believe, 1856. Now I think the state of Wyoming, was the first state. The state of Wyoming was the first state to allow women to vote. And the only reason why they allowed them to vote, because they wanted political leverage. So let's just stop playing, man. It ain't never been a spot at the table for women in the workplace. So when they took dating out, what that did was make them have that empowered a woman that was probably doing her job. And then now all of a sudden some dudes say, hey man, you look cute today. But before that, she would probably be like, oh, thank you so much. But the guy, her office, those management, those people in those corporate offices, they the ones that be harassing and using leverage to dominate women in the workforce. My daughter's a lawyer, attorney, and that reason why she went back to get her MBA to get out of law, because she said it's very misogynistic. It's a lot of egomaniacs that are abusing their power. But it's not the bus driver. It ain't the waste management worker. It's not the postal worker. It's the boss of all these positions that are doing this shit. So I think that's where we went wrong when we took dating out of the workplace, because that's how this country was built, by meeting at the workplace and building strong bonds, going to picnics together, birthday parties together. That's why if you see in schools, you will see the families, the families who support the school, like the PTA and all them, they're all friends. The people who do not know them, they're on the outside looking in because they're not giving their time, volunteering their time to the actual source. So I don't buy that at all. I believe you could date, do whatever you want, because it's on the table. It's open. The minute you start having to hide that, ooh, I like Keisha, she's fine as hell, but I can't say nothing because, you know, I don't know, I might have to just meet her somewhere in Disneyland or something. Nah, man, that ain't never gonna work. And that creates weirdos. You know what I'm saying? That creates weirdos. So that's where we at. Now we got a bunch of weirdos. Now you got the guy over there whacking off in his cubicle because he got a crush on the girl next to him. But back in my era, 92, 88, 96, he could have went over there and hollered at her, and she would have said, "No, man, we gotta just be friends." Okay, but that's it. And it's over.
So you have to look at it, right? You just said it back in 92, 98, whatever. There was a paradigm shift to where that was acceptable. That was a social norm. It was acceptable back then. If you go back to the 50s and everything else, the television show Mad Men is a great example of how misogynistic and everything else the workplace was, because the stuff they did back then you couldn't do today because of the laws that was passed, the rights and everything else, right? So now when you start talking about sexual harassment, right, you got quid pro quo. And yes, a lot of harassment and a lot of these things that we do against other people, it is based upon the power structure and the power dynamic, right? And I'll concede that. And the one of the things is that as far as the harassment and the assaults and everything else, let's just talk about harassments, right? You know, you can sexually harass anyone at any level. You don't have to be over them, control their job, their evaluations, and have power. I really think that it's been brought to a forefront, and as a society, we decided to change the paradigm and said that this is no longer socially acceptable. Right. So there was that movement from when we said, you know, we can go up and we can have Playboy, Penthouse, and everything else just at the desk, at the office, and everything else. And as you started integrating more females into the workplace, work environments, at some point they said, hey, this is no longer socially acceptable. So there was a paradigm shift. Right.
Yeah, but that's based on money by the attorneys, though. So if the attorneys just hijacked that, that's all they did. They just took that and said,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It's like the movie Coming to America when he brought the girl from Africa. She said, "Eddie, I won't have." That's what that was all about. That was basically that was hijacked by a bunch of attorneys. Because remember, you can't get blood from a grape. If your ass is broke and you touch some girl in the booty, man, ain't nothing gonna happen to your broke ass. You just gonna lose your job. But if you are the fucking CEO or the COO, she gonna get an attorney and she about to break your ass and the company. That's what that's all about.
Hold on. Whether it's about the money or whatever, the laws are in place to protect that and to mitigate that, right? Because not too long ago, you know, hey, less than 70 years ago, it was okay for people to go out and rape their wives. Society has said that no means no, even if you're married. There's no such thing as, there's a such thing as spousal rape, right? Because before it used to be, you're my wife, hey, get down, let's get to it, whatever, get up and leave. So society has changed, because if we're going to go back and say just like, oh, it don't matter, it's just this, everyone's just doing this and doing that, I'm going to bring this up right here. I'm going to bring up slavery, and I'm going to bring up the raping of slaves by their masters. Right? What's the difference? If you're saying that, oh, it's all about money and everything else, well, shit, put my ass back on the motherfucking plantation and let Mr. Whoever do whatever they want to do to my family members. Because that's essentially what you just said. Society has evolved from saying that this is okay. They said, hey, this is no longer okay. This is no longer socially acceptable. Now, the ramifications of that is some people have found a quick way to make a quick buck on false allegations and everything else. There's a guy, and he has an internet video, and he's dead legit. He's like, I get hired just to sue the company. right? Because the company got money aside, they don't want to go through that. So I get hired, I go in, I do a slip and fall. Here's $20,000. I'm out of work for the next 6 weeks or whatever. So, granted, it's all in that power base and that power structure. I don't have to be the CEO of IBM or Xerox or any other company to commit sexual harassment and assault and have the company liable. Because remember, whatever happens on company time and at the company place, and that's associated with work, liability goes back to the workplace management. That's
I didn't say nothing like that. I was just saying that the reason why we at this moment we are right now is because they took out the element of being a human being in the workplace. And whenever you say humans can't do something, most humans are going to try to go do it. So the minute you took out dating, what was that? The minute you took out what?
Now I'm saying you can still be a human being, you can still date in the workplace, but there's just policies that go against it, and sometimes it's just not worth it, because if you're dating someone in your workplace and then that power dynamics, like you happen to be a manager, they happen to be a manager, now you run into the EEO aspect of it. It's just like, well, because they're dating, they always get to go on these trips together and they plan this and do that. There's not an equitable division of labor and all this other stuff. So now, because we are in a litigation society, right? You can file a suit against anything. I can file a suit at my job because the light bulbs ain't bright enough, or the light bulbs is too bright and it's giving me headaches. Because the ADA, right, the Americans with Disability Act, there's certain accommodations that must be done. So they said, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that. That way.
I understand all what you're saying, Joe. I'm just simply saying how we got to this point is because we took the human element out of the workplace, meaning that people can't be themselves. When you start telling people what they can't do, I can't talk to her, I can't do this, I can't do that, you create more disarray than you ever had before, and you have more abuse of power than ever before. The only problem is now is that everybody can sue everybody. So to me, I think we went backwards. I would like it to go back the way it was. It's probably not going to be like that. I'm not stupid, but obviously they eliminate the ability of a man being a man and a woman being a woman, and then they ushered in a whole new way of presenting people in the workplace. So now it's to the point now where I can see why somebody say, I ain't gonna be friends with nobody. But I'm just fortunate in my job that I have that I can still do that and be myself. I'm married. I'm not tripping. But I just think that my point was just basically all this crap that's going on now is because they took out dating in the workplace. I believe it's a better workplace when people can actually date and do what they want to do. This is my personal opinion.
What's up, Hot Tub?
All the abuse of power, all shit's gonna happen anyway. So whatever. I mean, I don't really care. You know, it is what it is. You know, it's always gonna be abuse of power. Always.
From what I see, bro, I'm in the railroad industry, and it's built. The railroad operates like it's still 1980. Everybody screwing everybody in there.
Right, as long as you don't bring it to the workplace.
No, it's in the workplace.
Oh, I'm saying, as long as you don't bring your issues to the workplace.
Right, as long as you don't bring your issues to the workplace. Exactly.
Even still, we got in my district that I'm over. We got a cat. He works right across from his ex-wife, and the guy that's on the shift that relieved him is now married to his ex-wife.
Woo!
She's sleeping with a guy 2 districts down.
So he literally relieved him figuratively and literally. He got relieved.
He's literally right.
It's almost like it's industry by industry. Some industries, yeah, they're real strict on sexual harassment and relationships in the workplace, and then some industries are less, yeah. And they still, Fortune 500 companies. Still big time money, but it's more acceptable some places than it is not. Is it right or wrong? I'm not here to say. Right. Hey man, if that's how y'all get out and all parties agree in it, I see no issue with it. But what we're seeing is that pendulum has swung so far to the left now that people are overly cautious in doing anything.
Yep.
And what eventually happens, you can't go so far to the right or to the left without any form of backlash.
Yep.
So what you're starting to see, and it's starting to form, and it's coming out of the women for the most part, is a backlash with the women. Like, hey, I didn't sign up for this feminism shit, so right. I like to be, I've seen women do this. I like for a guy to look at me and compliment me and do stuff like that.
Yep.
So you starting to see that pendulum kind of swing back to the right now.
No,
It'll never go back to what it used to be.
Hey, Hot Tub, let me interrupt you real quick. And you know the reason why a lot of women are starting to say, well, I like when the man do this and do that? Because they figured out that that requirement that used to be must be able to lift 50 pounds and walk 25 feet.
Right.
50 pounds, that shit fucking heavy and shit.
Right.
You hike that dress up just a little bit, man. You're like, how do you make foreman? You know, how you lift those boxes? I wouldn't know. Hot Tub Tony was lifting that mug. How you get him to do that?
Thank you.
Because don't let them fool you. When I was working overseas, that was known. The women would tell you, I don't have no problem sleeping with my manager if it means that I'm gonna move up.
Hell yeah.
And the last time I worked overseas, that was 2017, and they were still talking like that. So, like I say, it's not all women, but it is a segment of women that will use that to say, hey, I wanna if you say this to me, I'm gonna sue you.
Yeah.
And they use that's a hustle now.
Yeah.
It's become a whole industry of hustle.
You have that power of the femininity and everything else. You know, you got that whole dynamic of a work wife, work husband, and everything else. And so there's so many dynamics that's going on today in the workplace. And it's going to happen because as soon as you bring the two opposite sexes together, it's going to happen. And you know, I'm glad you mentioned overseas because a 2 or a 1 or a -8 here in the States, or go overseas for about 2 weeks, about a 15.
He ain't lying. He is not lying.
Man.
They start to look real good after a month.
Shit, get that motherfucker and don't let them be getting those care packages on the regular. Like, you got Twizzlers? Shit.
But it's crazy nowadays. It's done swung so far that it's almost comical.
Yeah, it has, man. I got I got a couple of friends that I know are like there's a girl I know, she's lesbian, and I know a guy that's gay, and he's a hell of a baseball coach. He coaches at University of Pacific up in Stockton, but he went to my high school. Cool dude, right? So it was funny because there was I think it was one of their Facebook posts, and they were saying like, man, I ain't signed up for all this. Like, they don't even want to be linked with the L+ group. They just want to be themselves. So when they started latching all that stuff together, it pretty much made the workplace pretty, you didn't know what the hell was going on. But when it was wide open, people could be who they want to be. For example, like in '87, we had a guy that was in our high school that was gay, and he was a hell of a track runner. He went and ran track at USC. Just had a great career. He's doing really, and he trains super tight athletes right now. John Morant. I mean, just an incredible trainer. Great dude. USC grad, NBA, smart dude. Everybody knew. I can't even say his name because he didn't know he's gay. Everybody knew Alvin was gay. He didn't even hide it. But you know what he didn't do? He didn't wear lipstick, dress up, all that, heels, all that kind of stuff. He didn't do any of that stuff, right? And that is a whole entity in itself. So that's cross-dressing, whatever you want to call it. You're trying to be trans, whatever. But that was not existing in the Bay Area, 84, 87. People were who they were. So if a guy was gay, you really didn't know he was gay unless he actually showed some type of symbol or emotion or something like that, or he told you. Like,
yeah, they wasn't forcing it on you. They was respectful about
it. They wasn't forcing it on you. No. Yeah. Hey, my name is Keisha. You see, I'm a girl. No, dude, you're a dude. Get out of my way. No, it wasn't none of that, dude. Man, it was totally different. So now these people are older. They're my age. They're 55 now. So a lot of the Bay Area, I can only speak for the Bay Area, the gay community that I knew up there, because when I entered high school, AIDS was a big topic, and we proved all that shit to be fake. Like, you can't hug nobody, you can't touch nobody. Man, that shit was a lie. But anyway, those people are upset up there because now they're lumped into this whole thing, and they don't agree with all their morals and what they're doing. So you're right, man. It's like there's many levels to it, but I know for a fact, I can speak for myself, I know some lesbian and gay dudes, and they do not get down with all this stuff. They don't force themselves on you. They don't cross-dress. They don't run out with a pink tutu with some Jordans on saying that they're a girl. They don't do none of that stuff. But they're lumped inside of all that, though. So that's why this election coming up, you're going to see a lot of people jump over to the red side, even though they're gonna make a difference for the average citizen, but they're gonna switch their vote because of a lot of other factors, not just the economy. It's going to be a lot of social issues that's going to really swing people to the Republican side because they're seeing all the immigration. Not even immigration is illegal. They're not immigrants. They're illegals coming in, getting money. They just gave $95 billion, I think I saw last night, to Ukraine, Taiwan, and Israel. They just gave another $35 billion to Chicago. They're already at like 500 million already. So these people are like, wait a minute, what's going on? So you're going to see a different voting pattern for not only blacks, but you're going to see it in every minority group, and you're going to see the L plus community get divided too. You're going to see it. Just mark my words. You're going to see a lot of people switch, and you already seen it already. In Chicago, they had a rally, and they had guys out, ladies and men out there with "Make Chicago Great Again," not MAGA hats, but "Make Chicago Great Again" hats. So you're already starting to see the swing because of all this wokeness. We call it wokeness out here. It's just over woke. You know what I mean? So that's where we're at right now. Everybody want to get a place at the table, but they want to put alpha men in the background. And then here we are now looking at a World War III. Now you want the alpha man to go back out there and fight. But guess what? They don't want to be in the Army no more. They don't want to be in the Marines no more. They don't want to be in the Air Force no more because you let everybody in and you want everybody to have a right to sue somebody. So now it's all fucked up now. You know what I mean? Alpha men are disappearing. I'm 55. I consider myself an alpha male. And if you're an alpha male in 2024 and you're 21, 22, 33, man, you got to walk on pins and needles, on eggshells just to be a man, like a real man. You know, like scratch your nuts or something like, ooh, look at him. He's over there funneling himself. I'm scratching my nuts. Why are you looking so hard? You know what I'm saying? So it's just a. But if I'll put some lipstick on, you'll be like, oh man, look at him. He's being himself. Man, get up out of here, man. Yeah, man. So
you
anyway,
my hit on something, bro.
My son,
you hit on something real heavy there.
And my son's in the Army right now, right?
Workplace,
oh, go ahead, boss.
You hit on something in the workplace. Now, sexual harassment, I've noticed, does not apply to that alphabet community because I've seen them studs do all the things that they complain about the men doing to the ladies. Oh, they make out-of-pocket comments. They touching on the women, and nobody's complaining. Nobody's suing. Now, I'm going to take y'all back, and I'm going to see how many of y'all remember this. There was a WNBA player, and she came out after she...
That's like you hating.
She came out after she played and said she left the WNBA because she was getting harassed by all the lesbians in the WNBA. The WNBA swept that under the rug. The media swept that under the rug. This lady's still out here. She still talks about it to this day. You know, we do a sports show on Sundays. We're trying to get her to come on and tell her story. Because she said she was railroaded out the WNBA for exposing that. So why does this? I don't like the inequality. If we gonna make a law, make it apply to everybody.
Absolutely.
But for that particular community, they get out of their exceptions made. They can come out and be as flamboyant as they want to. They can damn near come to work with the dick out. Sorry about that, but nobody says nothing. We have to ignore it and act like it's empowering to them. And that's what he said. Now, so when you said that pendulum kind of swinging back to everybody kind of going towards Republicans, yes, because we've gone so far left, it's nowhere else to go. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
People want the traditional values back. There's a lot of people who are not with this programming that's going on. I'm being one of them. I stand on this all the time. I'm like, hey man, this shit is crazy.
It is.
Yeah, and the reason why I can get away with being who I am, because I'm too old to cancel me. I'm 55, so good luck cancel. You can cancel me if you want to. I'm good. I got my pension already behind me. I'm chilling. My house paid for. I ain't got no bills. The only bills I got the ones I make. So if you want to try to cancel me, you just canceling. You just wasting your time canceling me. But what I was gonna say, it's funny because when South Carolina won a championship, okay, I'm watching everything because I'm a real analytical guy. So I'm watching Don Staley. I'm watching all this stuff. Man, did you see the post-game interview when the announcer said, "Hey, Coach Staley, do you got a problem with transgender women playing in your sport?" Man, she almost choked on her drink. She grabbed her cup. She went. I'm just going where I stand on that. Everybody can do what they want to do. So I was like, and everybody knows
you gotta understand.
And Don Staley is an open lesbian. Everybody been known as that Don Staley's an open lesbian. But guess what Don Staley said without saying anything on that question? She's not down with the L+ community. She almost said it without saying it. What she wanted to say was, hell no, I don't want no men in my sport. We don't. But she couldn't say it because they would have canceled her ass. So she knew, boy. And I think that was a low ball question because they didn't ask the Iowa coach that. But then but they said, well, they don't never really ask the same question to the losing team. Man, get up out of here. You knew damn well what you were doing. You knew Don Staley was an open lesbian woman. The white woman on Iowa is married to a man. So they knew that, they didn't want to ask her that question because Caitlin Clark is their little cash cow right now. You know what I'm saying? So, man, that says it right there at all. When Don Staley basically said without saying, hell to the no. Man, that was it right there for me. That's when I knew I was right. Man, it's gay people ain't down with this shit, man.
Don Staley got to walk on eggshells herself, man.
She do.
She
and
has
to piggyback on what you're saying
of sexual harassment herself.
And to piggyback what you're saying as far as like women's sports, because I've been coaching women's sports for over about 15 years. I started off in the male side. My sons got older. I switched up, but I used to be a recruiter for the University of San Francisco, and so I saw the insides and outs of all these locker rooms. And let me tell you right now, you are absolutely right. Yeah, most of women's basketball is mostly lesbian. Yeah, no doubt about it. But I'll tell you this though, they're not all down with all that stuff though. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of them had male relationships before they became lesbian.
Lesbians, yeah.
So there is an element of like, but then again, remember, in the men's locker room, you got a lot of guys that are pushing like, man, did you beat that up last night? What you mean, man? I'm gonna get these help. And it's probably a dude sitting there that's married faithfully for 20 all these years with his woman, and he's hearing these young cats talking about going to the strip club, getting dizzy, this, that, and the other. So in a sense, a lot of people, if you really want to claim sexual harassment or unhealthy workplace, man, that shit can be thrown around everywhere, man. That's why I don't buy into it, because it's one thing if someone touch you. If someone touch you, put their hands on you.
Right, don't put
that's a whole different level. But for someone to be having a personal conversation about something, how they feel and think, and you get offended by it, no. You need to grow up, put some big boy pants on. No. Was they talking about you? No, then shut up then.
All right, okay. Hey, so I got a question on that, right? And I'm gonna play a little bit of devil's advocate. I'm gonna kind of go out of character. Say you're in a restaurant, you're somewhere out, right? You be with some people, be by yourself, right? Whatever. And there's two white people talking, and they hit that infamous word, right?
The N word, yeah.
Are you gonna get upset?
Well, that's two different categories. We're not talking about racism. We're not talking about racism. We're not talking about racism. No. It's two different categories. Because here's the thing. Hold on. Wait a minute. You started. Let me finish it for you.
All right.
Let me tell you right now. I've been black 55 years. There's nothing I can do to change how I look in the general public where someone will say that they confuse me with being a white person or a Mexican person or a Chinese person. Just because your sexual preference is your choice or your gender choice, when I look at you, looking at you right now, if you told me you was a woman, I would be saying, hell no. Okay? If you try to tell me you was a white man, I'll be like, hell no. Because I can identify that you are a black man. Right, so how the hell is racism and gender choice and sexual choice? That shit ain't got nothing to do with each other. I can't hide my blackness. You can hide your sexual identity. You can hide your gender.
Listen what I'm saying.
Not the same.
No, listen what I'm saying, right? I'm not saying they called you overheard them say it. Right? They was having a private conversation and you overheard them say it. Right? They wasn't talking about you, wasn't directed to you. They was just having a private conversation. And they overheard you overheard them say it. And they're using the word casually like we use the word sometimes and everything else, right? Is that different? And how is it different?
Yes, that's
what do you mean,
absolutely
like
different.
right now,
That
2024?
is absolutely different, bro.
Yeah.
Because
It's completely different. And first of all,
I'm
that
gonna
word.
tell you like this, Ray.
Oh, go ahead, Ray.
And I mean, now, Jova, I'm gonna tell you like
Jova,
this.
go ahead.
If you use it around me, I don't care if you heard me or anybody else use it. We have designated that that's a word you're not allowed to use, and you can use it, but expect the repercussions.
You got suffer the consequences that come along with using it,
And
right?
you might run across a person. I'm a little slower now since I done got older. That was a part of my life. You say it around me. I don't care if you were saying it to me, around me, at me. I'm getting up and I'm slapping the shit out.
That's understood.
Same here.
The point that I'm making is,
you can say whatever you want to, but it's a repercussion that's gonna come behind
and that's
that.
and that's what I'm saying, right? Because we have decided that word is not socially acceptable, right?
I know, but what's this got to do with like we were talking about like
the
John Staley thing was the John Staley thing was
it does not go hand in hand with your sexual
in your
orientation.
sport.
But listen, it goes back to those conversations that he was saying about, you don't consider that sexual harassment or whatever. If they talking about, doing whatever and all that other stuff, that individual should just whatever, because essentially guys are going to be guys and talking about their conquests and everything else, right? But what I'm saying is, if it offends that individual, they have determined that you can't say that or do that if it offends someone else. And that's one of those things. That's the law. If we don't like that, we need to change the law, because it's just like if someone sits down here and says any number of these disparaging words is considered a hate crime. That's the law. Now, again, you can say what you want to say, but there's consequences and repercussions. So I can sit down in the locker room and continue to talk about my conquest and what I did and everything else, but I have to understand the consequences and repercussions that go along with that. Because if I offend Hot Tub Tony about talking what I'm talking about, he can go to that organization. If it's against their policies, I can get fired. So just like if two people are sitting down here and they start saying any one of the ethnic or racial slurs, you can say what you want to say, but there's the consequences and repercussions that come along with it.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
But Jova, that don't apply. The reason I don't agree with that, statement is because I take it to social media.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot say a racial slur against Hispanics, against Asians, against white folks. But you can say the N-word 100 times on here.
Yeah, and
it's acceptable.
Yeah, and part of that goes back to why females can call other females bitches.
Yeah, we can't.
Because it becomes socially acceptable, because now that argument is going to go, how come if we sit down having a conversation, we could go in, right? We could go in on each other, right? And then as soon as someone else says it, we're going to get mad or say they shouldn't use it. But then that argument comes back to, well, if you say it, it's in all this and everything else. You're desensitized to it. Like my man Riley said on the Boondocks, we use it as a term of endearment, like my man said, he said the N-word so much. I wasn't thinking that he asked, can an N-word borrow a French fry? I was thinking, how the fuck are you going to borrow a French fry? You know what I mean? So it's one of those things is they said we can't say it, or you can't say this or talk about this. That's the law of the land, right? And now coming back and saying that, well, it shouldn't be an issue. They're talking about their conquest and offend someone because he's a good, upstanding, religious man and it goes against his values, morality, and norms. But when we say something that we don't like, whether it's about Judaism, Islam, Hispanics, Chinese, Asians, whatever and shit, everyone wants to get out. So I can't have it both ways. If I'm going to say that they can't do this and do that, it has to be equal on both sides, because now I'm gonna call you a hypocrite. Because I'm going to say, if I can't sit down here and say that, how come you can say it? And you're offending me, right? You're offending me when you say it, but it's okay because you're doing it between yourselves. I can't have it both ways. That's all I'm saying.
But
I'm letting everybody talk, but I see Paris come in. Go ahead,
what
Paris.
I would say to rebut that is that
My man said, "Allow me to retort."
So we got a whole we have a whole community of people that has made it damn near death death to your social life, to your economic life, by saying anything, not anything disparaging, but anything
Bringing up
about them.
facts, and they're going to shut you down.
Anything. You can't say anything about this one magical group of people that are somehow a race, a religion, and an ethnicity all in one, which I don't understand because Semitic people includes the Islamic people.
Yep.
Semitic people are of all races. You have Semitic people, but just because you say it to them, they have made it where you can't get no money. They take your money. They do stuff that they have never done before. They take your money,
that's the
billions
power.
of dollars out of a
That's
bank,
the
and
power.
tell you
That's
come
the
get your
power
money.
structure. Yeah, that's the power structure.
So-
That's the power base.
So that's what I'm saying. That's bullshit. All of that is bullshit. Now you call me the N-word. The worst thing you got to worry about is me getting up and slapping the shit out of you. You know what I'm saying? And if that's the worst thing that can happen to you, I have no power.
Right.
You know, other than that. So that's why I don't worry about people saying it. Because if you say it in your house with your little homeboys, as long as I don't hear it, I don't give a fuck. But why does this one group of people have to have carte blanche to say whatever they want to? And they the main ones that profit off of people saying the N-word. The same group.
Yeah.
But you can't say nothing about them.
Yeah,
I can't even mention their name on this platform because they'll shut Skilly down.
Hey man, Skilly's channel, shut it down.
I don't give a damn.
Man, I don't even like Skilly anyway, man. He got a nose tap.
Yeah, look at. I'm not gonna do nothing detrimental to Skilly channel, man. That's my guy.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, Perez?
Don't
But
get
I have
Skilly
an
down,
issue
y'all.
with that because how are you able to say whatever you want to about me?
That's true.
And I can't say nothing back. So you ain't gonna have it. All this double standard shit in society is what I have an issue with. Either it's gonna go back to where everybody can say anything about anybody, anytime, or we gonna be super sensitive. But what you're not gonna do is make us the exception to that rule that everybody can go in on us and we can't say nothing about nobody.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Perez. You've been waiting very patiently, brother.
Brothers, how y'all doing, man? Y'all always chopping up heavy, man.
I try to keep it light, Perez, but when hot tub and
you ain't gonna keep it light around here, man. These some big heavy players, man. But look, I'm gonna propose one thing to add to what everybody else has so eloquently laid out. We are being deceived every day, and I'm gonna throw a word out here that I don't hear much. But I'm going to say that the powers that be are the influencers or whatever it is that allows this to happen. They are doing a thing that looks like cultural engineering. We are allowing people to affect how we conduct our business. Politics, religion, and even in daily society, all of these things affect everything that's going on, you know, where we at. Now, look, when you go back in history, the civil rights movement, they had a certain way that they carried themselves. They did things, the marches and all of those. They had a specific purpose in those days because we didn't have social media. And they had to have a way to get that into the homes and the idealism of certain people's wives and those things behind those curtains so that some complaints could be made around dinner tables and things could start in the area of legislation to put pressure on. But now stuff is instantaneous. But when we talk about things like harassment, sexual harassment, whether it's age harassment or ethnicity, you know, it's really discrimination is what it's all constructed to say. But we talk about harassment. When they say harassment in the workplace, they said it can be real or imagined. So now anything else, you have to have a warning with it. But when it comes to harassment, it's at the very instance that they think that that's what that is. You know, so now when we were going to school, the same thing that they was mad at the president the other colored president, everybody was angry with what he was doing, man. If you was on the basketball team, you did some of the same stuff that he supposedly did. You know what I'm saying? That was a handshake, you know. But anyway,
you know what, Parasite, you hit on something.
But
and
yeah,
y'all be
come
making
on.
some good points. So a lot of times these other communities use our struggle.
Hijacked the movement, man.
They hijacked the blueprint. The blueprint for the civil rights movement became the blueprint for, first of all, who did it first? The Teamsters, when they started moving against, to get their working rights and stuff, the unions. Then it became the and then we got the ones with the alphabets. You know what I'm saying? Now it's the alphabets mantra. But it started, if you're so smart, get your own darn blueprint. But
This is what I have an issue with. Nobody in this country has a legitimate grievance. The LGBT don't have a legitimate grievance. Nobody's stopping you from marrying who you want to anymore. Nobody's stopping you from sleeping who you want to. Don't use our struggle to push your agenda. And I have an issue with that, with every community that does that.
Let's talk about what the agenda is. What is the agenda? See, they put the ideology in kids' heads and everybody's heads that say you don't have to listen. You can call 911 on your parents for if they want to discipline me for this and that. I can get away with this. I can be taken out of the home and all this. And they think it's going to be okay until they tell you you ain't going to go to your science school no more. You're not going to be with your friends no more. We're going to put you over here. It's almost like a concentration camp. But now, what in the world is really going on, and where does it stop? They made it illegal for people to get married in same-sex orientation in certain areas and places, but it's not over. It's not happy. They add a letter every 6 months. They add a letter to the acronym. So where does it end? Do anybody know about?
It ends with pedophilia. That's what the ultimate goal of that whole thing is.
Where is it?
That's what they're pushing in California. That's what a lot of their community has been locked up for. Now, I'm gonna give y'all some back history on the LGBT community. The LGBT community was started by some individuals who were part of another community called NAMDA.
I was just going to put
North
it in there.
American Man Boy Love
Association. And that was started when the Boy Scouts was founded.
Yes.
Yep. Hey, Joe Vaughn, you right.
Fucking Mambla.
and that's what the ultimate goal of that community. I'm not saying everybody in the community, but the people who are pushing the agenda of the LGBT community. That's their goal.
Is to get rid of the alpha male in America so it could be a weaker society so the government can have an easier way of controlling people. When you got independent alpha male thinking men in the military, in law enforcement, in the workplace, working out on all these plants, building things, and they're all strong alpha men that can read between the lines of some BS that's coming out of another man's mouth or a woman's mouth, that's intimidating. But when you got a bunch of L plus people who don't recreate kids, who have to go buy kids on the black market and adopt kids and all that kind of stuff, it makes it an easier society to control. Easier society to control. That's why gun regulation is so big in these liberal states, because we have over 35 to probably closer to 40 million people in California, but we make up a third of all gun sales. So it tells you we still got alpha men out here, but the policies will make you to believe that everybody's running around with a tutu on.
But they are moving. They are moving in that direction, though, brother. Yes, sir.
They don't want alpha men. Pay attention. They want your son to be gay. They want your daughter to be lesbian. They want them to have the right to change their gender. They want them to be able to do it without your permission. They want them to be able to go into the military. They want them to do everything that was designated for a person in their lane. Now there's no more lanes. There's no more lanes no more. Why do you think that military enrollment is down? Why do you think they're giving $5,000 bonuses to opt into the military? Because nobody wants to be in a foxhole with an L+ person. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. So the minute they started letting people get into all these avenues that were not designated for them, that's when you start seeing the alpha male pull back saying, no, I'm good with this shit. Let me go get me a house in the woods and mind my own business.
But
That's
see,
why you see the birth rate is down. That's why marriage rate is down. That's why two-parent household is down. They want to blame it on like rap music and gangs and all that shit. No, they ain't got nothing to do with it. That shit been around since day one. This shit has to do with gender. You locking all these boys up in these county jails and prisons. They come out bisexual. They get turned out up in there. They come out in society. Then they try to hide it. And so you got a whole lot of sexual perversion going on right now. So if you an alpha male and you ain't into all that, you are on the outside looking in on anything politically. That's my word.
But see,
we do not hate. We do. Let me say this: we do not hate and we do not bash that community.
No, we don't. No, I have gay people in my family.
So, I'm just saying, because somebody look at this and be like, "They ain't doing it." No, we're not.
No, I have gay people in my family, and they know.
No. I know you. I know. Hey,
you know that's the number one statement that they used to say back in the day. You know, I like black people. I got them. Not living my
right. My friend is black. Hey, that's what they say, so I'm gonna use it too. Shit.
But this is the issue.
I like such and such a kind of people.
right. I got a black friend.
I used to drink their milk.
Hey, I got gay people in my family too, so I'm just saying.
We all do. We all do, whether we know it or not. If you don't want to admit it,
Hot Tub, check your IG.
Yeah.
But keep on going. I just wanted to make that comment, but y'all keep on going. This is a good conversation. Keep going.
But this is my thing, and this is no disrespect to nobody else's community.
For real.
All of you are complaining about minor inconveniences. We have an actual grievance to this country. So you latching on to our struggle, we have to be the ones to stop that from happening, because we allowed that shit to go on for so long that everybody has legitimized their minor grievances and have conflated them to the point to where they're on the same level as 400 years of slavery and oppression and Jim Crow laws and rape and murder and killing. We are not the same. Do not compare your struggles to ours. You have a grievance. Cool. Make your case to this country based on that. But every single group has to have the LGBT, what made them successful when they start putting black faces out front of their agenda. Because now you have legitimacy because the black people legitimized it.
They borrowed the poster child, a token poster child.
We the one, that's our fault. We got to stop letting people legitimize themselves off of our struggle. That shit is not fair. That shit is not cool, and I don't like that shit.
Are you aware of the fact that the word minority? Are you aware of the fact that the word minority no longer is a word that would reference only one person, because statistically others have taken over that minority construct?
We should have never allowed that.
We should have never allowed it. Personally, in my opinion,
minority.
Yeah,
We were fighting for our own place. When you make everybody in a minority, white women are a minority group, LGBT, which includes every single race, is a minority group. So when everybody's a minority, we're still at the fucking bottom.
Hey, side note, there was an interview, and some of you guys may have caught it. I just want to know, was anybody aware of it? I think it was I forgot the lady name, but she interviewed Terrence Howard. Y'all know that actor?
Yeah,
that's
he had the wig on that interview.
Have y'all been in touch with that interview?
Yeah, I seen that interview.
So yeah, maybe a later time, because a lot of the things we talking about, he touched on some of those things. But now I have to admit, I didn't get the whole full gist though, because I think I fell asleep on some of it. But he was nailing a lot of things there. I'm going back and find it. But man, I'm back down. I just wanted to throw that in so somebody could write it down.
We just need more men in our. Now I'm back to black community now. We just need more black alpha male men in the household now. So coming out of the Joe Biden crime bill under George Bush that he wrote, the maximum minimum, what that did was literally wipe out all the alpha male men in the low community urban project housing areas. Now, were all those guys good guys? Probably not. But they were men standing on foundation of being a man. And then now, so you got all these reckless young kids running around all these areas, Birmingham, Alabama, Southside Chicago, Dallas. I mean, just all the Oakland, California, Palm Beach, Florida, all over New York City, young, wild ass kids that had never, ever been taught anything by a black man other than crime. So if you take that little piece of facts, not my opinion, some black men have been taught by professors and drill sergeants and, journeymen and general contractors on jobs and stuff like that. They have been taught, but it's a very, very small percentage. Most of our black youth, the first thing they learned that was criminal was from another black person. They were not taught criminal behavior by white people. So what happens is you have this whole generation, multiple generations of young black youth running wild with never, ever been taught. They've been taught by who? Mama, who? Grandma, Nana, right? And what mama and grandma usually do when they have three wild ass boys that ain't listening, they just beat you. Beat your ass. Belt, switch, whatever, right? Grandma go get the switch, whoop the shit out your ass, right? So it's anger and frustration. So women are always gonna come from an emotional frustration level when they are raising black men, particularly young men, because they don't know how to handle us. So without that element of that strong, proud black man that gets up, like the show Good Times, James worked his ass off. Yeah. He never wanted JJ in the street, Thelma in the street, Michael. He worked his ass off and got screwed over every time by the system, by the man. But he never went to crime. He never went to crime. He never taught crime to his kids. So his kids had a foundation of doing shit right. Even if they were poor, they still knew what was right and what was wrong. And that element right there alone, just that one element, is what we're missing. All this other shit, is irrelevant. We are missing that two-parent household with that educated, strong, hardworking black man in there with a moral foundation so we can instill it into his young black kids. That's what we're missing.
Let me address
Hold on, everybody be quiet. I got to go to work. This is getting very interesting. My black ass, I've been saying I got to go eat. I got to get ready for work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Jova on down go, and y'all say what y'all going to say, and we get the hell up out of here. We're not about to be here another 30 minutes or an hour. I love y'all to death. I would love to be here with y'all, but I got to get ready for work. Fuck that.
Yeah.
So,
I'm done.
Hey, so check this out, right? So when we talk about Good Times, we talk about the Jeffersons and everything else, right? Who wrote all those episodes?
Norman Lear.
Supposedly Norman Lear, but
exactly.
Another guy also.
They brought a couple of us along and everything else, but when we look at it, right, back then, like the way we was portrayed or the portrayal of it, there's very few positive upper middle class. It was the Jeffersons, like my man said in Tropic Thunder, for 400 years, that word and held us back. Right? But if you look at all the episodes and everything else, all the comedies, right? Again, Good Times was the only one that showed a two-parent household, but they lived in the projects, right? They lived in the worst of the worst, right? You had What's Happening, but they lived in a house, but it was a single mother household. So now I'm being programmed to, the only thing I'm seeing is projects with my father or single parent household with my mama in a house. And then you had the Jeffersons, which came later and everything else. But again, that was an offshoot of
Archie Bunker.
Right? So when we look at people are programming us and controlling everything we consume, what you think about it? Look at our music. Like what kind of music?
No. We control our own households.
No, everything we
let him finish, because I'm letting him finish, and then everybody can go and say what they're gonna say.
I'll bring it up. I know still got to go, but when you look at the mass media and the programming that we are consuming, right? That pushes us towards a certain narrative that normalizes certain things, right? Listen to the music, and they said this, about the doo-wop in the 50s and everything else, and the rap and the bebop and everything else. But the music back then wasn't nearly as violent as it is now. It's not, normalizing. I got my Glicky, I got this, I'm rolling on my ops and everything else. And as a young man, I don't know right from wrong. I can't differentiate fact from reality, fantasy from reality, and now I'm caught up because I don't have those positive role models that's going to work, that's doing this, that's truck drivers, garbage men, stationary engineers, firemen, and all other stuff. The only thing I got drug dealers, and like Jay-Z said, I got sports and entertainment. That's it.
Yeah.
You know? And that's it, man. But Skilly, good live. You made me late for a class I had to teach.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna invoice you.
Hey, go ahead, DJ. Play nice, and I'm continue to go down the line. All right, go hot tub, Tony. You next after DJ Play Nice.
All I'm gonna do is clear up something that was said real quick. Less than 2% of Black America commit crimes. Less than 2%. This fallacy that's out there, oh, we just out here committing crimes and all that. That's not all of us. That's 2%. Now that 2% does represent that population that's that single parent household population. It overrepresented that way. But we are the only group in America, and I'm gonna state this as fact, and you can look it up, FBI crime stats. Since the 1960s, we are the only race of people whose crime rate has declined to the point to where now the Black crime rate is at its lowest point it has been since the 1960s. So
they all locked up.
No, they're not all locked up. We don't commit crime like that. We're just portrayed in the media as being criminals. Stop push, and I challenge everybody to start dealing in facts and stop pushing this narrative that's been pushed on our people, because we don't commit crimes at that rate. And the crimes that we do commit are mostly nonviolent. We are not the criminal class in America. We are overrepresented in the penitentiaries due to the court system. These are facts I'm telling. These are FBI crimes that can be verified. This is not my opinion. This is not
he ain't lied about that. I'm sorry.
We need to start pushing back on those narratives. And when I hear, when I get on these panels, I get passionate about it. But when I hear it coming from our people, because we are parroting white supremacist talking points about our own selves, which the facts don't line up with. So I challenge you, look up them crime stats. And then before you speak these narratives, reflect back to those. That's all I got to say about it.
All right, go Parasite. Then after that, it's going to be Eyes and Ears Tactical. And then I'm going to finish it off, fellas.
All right, gentlemen. First of all, I appreciate the opportunity to be in you guys' presence. And first, I'm going to say, just everybody stay positive. Definitely continue to do the research. And one thing that was said, and I wholeheartedly agree with, and that is I agree with a lot of things, but one is whomever we fall ourselves into that category of we must take hold of the narrative today and start narrating the story correctly. That means, wherever we got to start. I know we start with the conversation, but then we start at our homes, we start at our neighborhoods, we start in our communities, but we must start taking hold of the narrative. And sometimes that means we have to actually, just like before they go to court, somebody got to tell you, now this is the way you address this question when it's asked you. Sometimes we have to rehearse the lines with our fellow brothers and sisters. Have a great day. I'm off the microphone. Skilly, good live.
Marcel, of course, sir. Go ahead, Eyes and Ears Tactical, man. Speak your piece, brother. Can you hear me? Or did you cut off? Eyes and Ears Tactical. Okay. Well, maybe I'll hop on. What's up, 2A in LA? Shayna 2003. I think she was in here. I didn't say anything to her. I'm so sorry. Queen. Couple guys, man. We stayed at a reasonable 20 people in the live, man. I appreciate everybody that came through, that left a comment. Everybody that hit the panel, Guns and Barbecue.
Everybody still there?
Play night. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Go ahead and say your piece, sir. Before I get up out of here.
It kind of froze a little bit, I think.
No, you good. We can hear you. Go ahead and say what you're gonna say.
No. Good convo. You know what I'm saying? This is where it starts. You know what I'm saying? I hear what he's saying with his FBI stats and all that, but remember, Skilly, I was born in the South Side of Chicago. Living in Green housing project. So I don't care what the FBI crime stats say. We are in trouble. We're all locked up across the country in mass numbers. I don't know what those numbers are, but if you go to Chicago and you go to Cook County Jail, Stateville, Menard, it's all brothers, man. It's all brothers. You go to Birmingham, Alabama, Birmingham State Penitentiary. It's a lot of black men in there locked up. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our youngsters, our kids, are all been destroyed by this prison system. Because when they come home, a lot of them come home to the same stuff that they left to. And a lot of them don't get rehabilitated no more. They go in and get more criminal skills. You know what I'm saying? So I just say, it starts off at home, man. You gotta be home for your kids. Be a representation of your child, so they can learn how to do things the right way. I think it starts right there. All the rap music, that shit ain't got nothing to do with it. It's just basically a black man, take care of your kids, be responsible, work hard, teach them the right thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. All right, y'all, man. Definitely. I agree with it. I think everybody had something good to bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody that came through on the panel. Like I said, Guns and Barbecue, DJ Play Nice, Paris Eyes and Ears Tactical, Hot Tub Tony, and Joe Va, man. Thank all y'all guys for coming in, putting in your opinion and your opinion. What the hell?
Skilly, your lies be tight, man. Your shit is dope, man. I'm telling you.
Well, I mean, I don't know. The last, man, I'm definitely getting them now that you be on here now. Your third one on here, player. That's what I'm talking about. I'm doing something right now.
But seriously, Skilly, what I like about everybody on the panel, all educated, all black men, all giving their opinions, and that's where everything that good ever happened starts right there. Putting thought. I'm learning from Joe Var. I'm learning from all these guys, man. I went and bought a fucking Ego lawnmower. What are you talking about? Shit, man. Shit, I ain't trying to miss none of these lives no more. I might learn something else next week. So how to paint my damn room. This room needs to be painted. What's up?
Oh man,
man, for real. But that's what's crazy, man. All these brothers up on here and white dudes. Everybody just one big neutral family and just learning from each other, throwing conversations, throwing stories out. Like the one dude we talked about his little baby sister and all that little stuff, man. This is real stuff right here. This ain't no make-believe stuff.
Oh man.
I forgot I almost got Integrity Firearms. Thank you for coming up too, my brother.
That's Guns and Barbecue was just talking. You're a fool, GB. You're a fool, GB, man.
Well, man, I appreciate all you guys, man. Y'all, like I tell y'all all the time, man. I love coming on here chopping it up with my fellas. Y'all all a family to me, man. So it's I love to hear what y'all think and how y'all think, because you can always learn something from somebody.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate you guys, because I learned a lot from you guys when y'all come up here and chop it up with me. So
I'm learning every time I come on here, man.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. We, always good to learn from one another, and especially for us in our community. And like you said, Eyes and Ears Tactical, man, we have to be home to raise our children. You can't let nobody else do it, because if you would depend on somebody else to do it, then they might be in trouble. But
they might be in trouble.
As long as they got a solid foundation, because I'm telling you, my son, I met with his band teacher yesterday, and they have challenged him to do some things in the band that he's in. He's going off to high school next year, and I told the band teacher, keep challenging him. Now he plays for the high school band, but also the middle school band. So he said, man, there's something that I saw in your son, that he had an eye for music. So when black men start looking at other young black men and seeing the talent that he has in them, you got to appreciate that. Go ahead, Joe Va. You go.
Hey, Skilly, one thing I'm going to say, I know he definitely didn't get his eye for music from you. Behind ass Skilly.
Damn. On that note, y'all have a glorious Sunday afternoon. I'm gonna go sit and drink me a Malibu and pineapple on my lawn and look at my new lawnmower.
Hey, shout out to Skilly for having his hair done, somewhat done today. Last week he was on struggle.
Hey, Hot Tub, shout out for Skilly for being on time today.
For real.
I'm getting better. What can I say? I'm getting better. I'm getting
Nah,
on
you
more
got
time.
a good platform here, Skilly. Man, keep
My son
grinding,
got
bro.
an eye for music. Shouldn't it be an ear for music, man? Shouldn't it be an ear for music?
Well, I hear from
He
you.
said eye for music.
Oh, don't get Skilly started, because then we got to bring up the ham eye situation.
Hey, man, cut this live,
I
man.
think everybody forgot about that.
All
Yeah,
right,
I
y'all.
forget
hey,
about
hey,
that.
fellas.
I
Hey,
asked
fellas. Hey, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate you guys. I got a lot of respect and love for all you, man.
Hey,
For sure.
same here, brother.
All right,
No
show
doubt,
my
bro.
That's why I asked him, man. As soon as he said